Dara, are you here?
Yeah, good day, sir.
Yes, good evening, Dara. How are you doing?
Fine though.
Oh, okay, welcome. Mr. Amsalen is here too. Uh,
Hello, good evening, all.
yeah, good evening, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll kick off so that we will be able to get much achieved before our ending time. Okay, congrats once again for scaling into the next segment of the program. And I believe the the ISC2 training is still going on. See, like I said, you don't have to write the exam immediately. Only book the exam when you are confident enough. And also, before you write, probably 3 weeks before that time, you let us know in the group so that we'll provide you extra materials because though the training from the ISC2 might be light, light is not in the sense of the quality, but light in the assimilation weight. You still need extra, you know, materials, trainings to get you through the exam. And some of them are online. We have some that we've already curated for everybody here in the program. Thank you. And don't get scared. You go out there, take the exam when you're ready. For those who are in Lagos, is an advantage because Lagos has like either 2 or 3 centers, while the rest of the states in Nigeria has only two, Zaria and Abuja. So we have someone from Akwa Ibom who wanted to, look out for training center, but we couldn't find when we searched. So if you're in Nigeria, if you're in Lagos, it's a bit advantage for you. Mr. Amsterdam, where are you currently?
I'm in Lagos.
Lagos. Okay, good. And Dara, are you in Lagos too?
Yeah, Lagos.
Okay, I already know Mr. Ola is in Lagos doing the Lord's work. Okay, so this next stage is fire for fire. Okay, and I want us to do more about it. So let's kick off. My name is Mr. Brian, and I'm currently, like you all know, cybersecurity support technician in or at each one Teach One Tech USA. And every day we put out our strength out there to keep the world safe, one step at a time. So for this particular section, we'll need to set up our home lab. Those are the first things we're going to be setting. And setting up your own lab is not rocket science. For some of us who use router, some of us who are using Wi-Fi, if you're using hotspots, whenever you set up 1 or 2 or 3 devices in a network, then automatically you have a lab. You have something you could test and work on. I was telling the last class that in I needed to respond to this message. By January or January, middle of January, we'll be rolling out a new program, which is not for beginners but for advanced learners, fitting for almost fitting for those who are done with beginners level, just like this level. Once people are done with this level and they want to go into more advanced stuff. So the program is 10 capstone projects. So from week one is capstone project. No time for basic foundation. So there are 10 capstone projects for the program, starting from week one to I think the fifth week or thereabout. So by January it will be launched, and each and every one of us too will be able to see it and share or join depending on our curriculum and our time then. So to connect your devices, you could see I have my Wi-Fi, Spectranet. I use Spectranet here, and this is my phone. I have two phones with me, although the second one has gone bad. But my wife's phone also is inclusive. Then my wife's laptop. Then my laptop. Then my Wi-Fi. Then my own phone. Everything is connected through the router. Or if I don't have data in the router, I on one of the hotspots on the phone, and I still go ahead to do the projects I want to do. So the setup is easy so far as you're able to get your devices inside the same network. Once that is done, there are few things to note, okay, which is going to help us in our work ahead. Number one is if you look closely at the back of my router, the IP address is there. So can anyone see it? If you could see it, just kindly read it out.
192.168.8.101.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the IP address of my router. Okay. So this IP address is, I'm going to try to explain this concept in a layman's term just to get our minds off it. So this IP address is like an estate. Okay. Um, whose estate are we going to use now? Let's use Mr. Absalem's estate. Mr. Absalem, you live in an estate, right?
Um, okay, yes, I do because it has the main entrance gate.
Yes, that entrance gate. Good. So, good. So, now, what's the name?
Sorry,
What's the name? The name of the estate.
estate. Oh, that's the number. Okay, let's just use. Let me just give you. I
Yes,
don't think he
give
has a
me,
name.
yeah, give me any name. Just give me any name. Let's assume that you are the owner of the estate. Give me a name.
Okay, we can use Ajoda.
A J O
AJODA.
D A. Okay. Ajoda. Okay.
Ajoda Estate.
Ajoda Estate. Good. Now, this my IP address that is coming from my internet provider is the estate. Now, let's let me get my drawing board out so that we could do some drawings. The estate is coming up. So basically, the concept I want us to explain now, understand now, is one that is tied to the success of your networking. I had a student Lena, who came to me one certain time. He said, Mr. Brian, please, he needs help. I said, where do you need help? He said that he took, after he discussed with me, that he took a physical class training. People should be listening now. Now, this is his third week. To be frank with me, that he's not understanding one thing. I said, what is the problem? Why can't you understand what they're teaching? He said, where they are teaching or what, that he can't even understand that if the talk network go up, the talk network go down. They draw network on the board, they draw it on the ground. That his head has not been the same. And he thought he was confused before joining the class, but now he's really, really confused. I asked him, what's your people's first topic? And he said, IP addressing. I said, okay, good networking. Fantastic. When you are, okay. We're good. So we're still in Ajodo Estate, right? That's where we are. Ajodo Estate. Use this call. Okay. Now let's assume that this is our estate, the estate of cybersecurity bootcamp called Ajado Estate. The name AJODA, Ajado Estate ISP, Internet Service Provider. Mr. Assalam, I got the what's it called? The spelling correct, right?
Yes, you did. Correct.
Okay. And let's give it an address. Let's say the address is 192.168. Dot what do we have? 192.168.8.1 dot 8.1. And of course, it's answering dot one because it is the number one, right? That's the estate. This is the estate. Now, inside this estate, we have Ola's building. We have Dara's building. We have another person's building. We have this other person's building. Each of the buildings will take up a name with an address that has its parent origin from the estate name. Let's say, for example, this building is building number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and their addresses will be 192.168.8.2. This is the address of the first building. The second building, 192.168.8.3. The fifth building, 192.168.8.5. So, can anybody point out any similarities between the houses and the estate? Yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think it's the last number that is different from the estate.
Good. Meaning they are all sharing the first, second, and third, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Now, what that means is for every device that you connect to a specific internet service provider, whether your Wi-Fi or router or your hotspots. For every device that comes in to that network will have the same address with the address of that network provider. That network provider will be the one to assign it the last digit, which is the unique digit of that device. Did I make any sense?
Yes.
Okay. If that makes sense and also relatable in our buildings like we have it now, for every, let's say, number two now will now be number two Ajado Estate, number three Ajado Estate, number four Ajado Estate. All of them are still bearing Ajado Estate, right? Because that's what the name of the estate they are in. So every device that comes in contact or that is inside this particular network will inherit, not just be inheriting, the internet service provider will be the one to assign it the number that it's supposed to use, which is the unique numbers that it has. Okay, now let's look at the address individually and bring out another characteristics of this address. We have here one. Let me use black. All right, let me use red. 192.168.8.1 slash 24. Who could tell me why we have a slash 24? If you have the slightest idea, or what does slash 24 mean?
It means you can take 24 users.
Hmm. Your idea is in the right direction, but the answer is wrong.
Okay.
Can anyone else try?
No idea.
Okay, it's good. Each of these blocks, each of these blocks has a capacity of a certain number it can take by default, and each of them could take approximately 255. 255 255 and 255. Each of the blocks can take individually 255 devices. That is what it means. Let's say that those devices are the users. So, Ola, if one of this block takes 255 devices,
Okay.
One, two, three, four. Four blocks. Below each of these blocks, ideally in a binary form, they hold a bit digit of 8. Each of the blocks. I'm in a class, please. I'm in a class. We are currently in a class. I'll call you back later. Okay. Sorry about that. Each of the classes, each of the block could take up to 255 devices. But it's not all of them that are going to be used for devices. We are going to find out now on how they are being shared. Now, understanding these little things I'm trying to explain to us now will ensure us that and help us to understand the networking is working. Sorry, turn off sound so that we could have sound. My sound is back, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's establish another fact. Each of these blocks also ideally holds 8 bits inside them. First of all, we saw that they actually have um, they can take 255 devices each, and now we are also seeing that bitwise they hold 8 bits inside them. All together is how many bits?
That's 32.
Good, 32 bits. Now, there is something called subnet mask. Subnet mask is what is used to determine the parts that is useful in a network. Because when you look at this 25, 25, 25, 25, and I tell you that all these devices, all these things can collect 25, 25, 25, when you sum them up, you find out that we have a lot of space that will hitherto be rendered useless or redundant in a network because obviously one person does not have up to 255 devices they want to connect. Companies, depending on their sizes, have even larger numbers of devices, but yet it is unreal for you to have to take up all the whole spaces, etc. So the subnet mask is used to determine the usability of these networks, the ones that are needed or to be used in a particular network. Now, when you connect your Wi-Fi inside your house, you connect your Wi-Fi and also your devices. You are inside a private network. So, someone that is inside a private network, we don't expect you to have 300 or 255 devices or laptops or you want to connect. So, you are inside a private network. Then, when you want to talk to the outside network, then you are now going into the public domain, to the public network. But so far as you are inside your home lab, what you're operating under is in a private network. And if we look carefully at the address we have 192.168.8.1, meaning It is the first block has been occupied and it is stagnant, it cannot change. Second one, stagnant, it cannot change. The third one, it cannot change. Rather, we have the last one, which is available for us to change. Even that last one has how many devices can it take? That last block,
255.
good, 255 devices. Out of every 255, there are two that are not being assigned to any device. Of course, we know that computer starts counting at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You and I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meanwhile, computer starts counting from 8. Meanwhile, we human beings will start counting from 1. The first and the last address or space is not being assigned to any device. And there is a reason for that. The first, which is 0, is used as broadcasting. We use it to broadcast. If I want to speak to everybody that is inside the estate, I will make use of the broadcasting signal. Broadcast. Broadcast. See, my handwriting is very fantastic today. Then the last one. What is the last number? Let me see who is catching the mass now. What will be the last number?
7.
No, 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 no. Remember, we are talking about each of the block. So from 255, the first device, the first space, or the first what's it called,
Oh,
is 0. So we
That
have
254.
exactly.
254.
So 0 is the broadcasting. Meanwhile, 254 is your assignment number 1. What is it used for? Two addresses are reserved. The first is 0, and I told you that 0 is used for broadcasting. Then the last one, what is it used for? That's your assignment number 1. Now, if I want to send a message to everybody that is inside this estate or inside this network, what I will do is I will type in my address with a /0. Whatever message I type in inside this address, each one of them will get it. I will use it to send a broadcast message to every network, every device that is inside this particular network. Let me pause. Ask question.
So the broadcast message, is it a voice message or a text message?
Okay. The message, when a computer sends a message, it takes several forms. Of course, it could go in as any form that the computer wants it to. For example, a message might be, I want to know everybody, the name of everybody that is inside this network. So I will send it and request for all the devices to show up, and all of them will list out for me and give me their names and the devices, and also probably the OS they are running on or their MAC address. It will just, so we give prompts, or you could give prompts to your system and use it to get information from every device that is connected in your network in that particular network?
No, 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 no.
Okay. Okay. So while I'm getting the machine booted so that we could um, do the send a message, a broadcast message to everybody, let's get back to our file. Now, this simple thing we showed now on the board. Your second assignment is connect all your devices into your network and ensure to find out or verify that all of them has the same address, excluding that unique one. So this part here is my phone. This is my Android phone, and you can actually verify where your network is connected. I named my Wi-Fi Kali Linus virus. Okay, so this is just a name, and it shows if your Wi-Fi name is Ola network details. When you go to your phone, most of us must have known how to get it from our phone. If your phone is connected to any Wi-Fi, you go to settings, then go to network, then you see the your Wi-Fi where your phone is connected. You press on it, and it will show you what's it called, details of where it is connected to. Okay. Now the phone I'm using, this phone that my video is on, is the one that I'm using to power the system. So the system is taking data from the phone. So this is now my router. My phone is now serving as my router. So the same scenario might be applicable to you. Maybe you have your own router that maybe your Wi-Fi that you're using. Connect it to your devices and ensure that you verify that every device that is on your network has the same pattern. So if we look closely inside here, on the device, on the wireless router, we have 192.168.8.1. So what is the address on the phone? Someone should read it out. This is the phone. This is the phone interface.
192.168.8.101.
Good. So does it correlate with what we showed on the drawing board? Look at it very carefully.
Yes, it,
Okay, good.
yes, it does.
Now, also, look at under it, you will see the router. Some devices are smart enough to show you that, okay, uncle, you are connected to a Wi-Fi router, and this is the address of the router. If you check, it is the same with what we have. So my phone is actually getting the correct address of its provider, 192.168.8.1. Then also another information to find out here is the subnet mask. We have a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Can you see that?
Yes.
Now, let's analyze this particular subnet mask.
Okay, that dot zero now means it's the first device that is connected to it, I
Okay,
guess.
I want to analyze it a bit for us so that we will understand. Let's get a new one. File, create new. See, what I'm trying to explain to us is, see, there are concepts, these are concepts that if I actually or you go through to do them as a learning, you might just take a whole month to understand networking and their parts. But the way I'm bringing it, dishing it out bite size, I'm trying to ensure that through practical, you will understand faster. I don't know whether you get me. So when you see the practical aspect and you understand the practical, when you're now reading it on Google or online, you're like, okay, is this why this connected to this? Is it why this is like this? So the digits we have on the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Meanwhile, let us check Google and say, what is a subnet mask? Subnet mask. What does it mean? And we say a subnet mask is a number that identifies the network and host portion of an IP address. A subnet mask is a number that identifies the network and host portion of an IP address. Let us carry this in our mind. We have network and host. Host. Oh, uh, the last time I used this, I beefed it up, so that's why it came down. Let's take it down to maybe 70. 40. I think 40 will be fine. 25. 25. Okay, I think this is better. So, network and host. The network side of an address is the side that is not changed per se, while the host is where you and I can actually put our devices in. It is automatically given when you are in a network. The network will know if you are in a public or in a private space. For example, there are types of these network configurations. We have class A, we have class B, we have class C, and we have class D. Class A has, um, let's say, 0, this is 255.0.0.0. Class B has 255.255.0.0. Class C has 255.255.255.0. Then class D most times classified. I think we also have class E also, but some of these the remaining classes are classified, meaning that they are like reserved. Now, from this classification, when we see a class A address, remember that I told us that each of the blocks has 8 bits on it. So we have 888, and the 88 is based on the network and the host. The ones to the left are the network, but the ones on the zero, meaning they are not open, they are not collected, are for the host. Anyone that is collected, you cannot put a device on it. For example, class A, we have 255, which is the network side, is already occupied. The first segment are left for us to use. So we have 0, 0, 0, actually representing 255, 255, 255. So we have a higher number of devices that can enter in a class A compared to class B and compared to class C. If the network side is taken, the whole side that is remaining is what you have to put in your devices, or your devices has to fit into that side. How do we get the /24 or /32 or /this from the network mask? Automatically, a class A will be /8. Can anybody guess the reason why it is /8? Any idea?
I think you said each they all have
Yes,
eight what's that word?
8 bits. Yeah, bit.
Bits. Yes. Yeah.
8 bits.
Yeah.
Each one of them has 8 bits on top of his head. They are they are they have 8 bits. 8 bits. They are all representing 8 bits. Now, the one that is open, the one that is selected by the network, is what is used to determine the subnet mask, and thereby we have /8. So if we have slash, of course, the next one will be what? Slash what? For class B, what will class B be? Dash what?
16,
Good. Slash class C will be what?
20, 24.
Good. Now, inside this class C is where most private networks are, because, of course, what are you going to do with 255,
Public.
225? What are you going to do with almost 500 and something device space? Even this /24 that we have is even too much. Anselm, Mr. Anselm, how many devices do you have in your house that can connect to the internet?
Um, one, three phones,
Okay,
two laptops. That's
okay,
five.
okay,
One TV,
okay.
six.
6. Yeah, you use a
That
smart
is,
TV. Okay,
yes,
okay, good.
7 or 8,
Okay, good.
but not all at the same time.
Okay, okay, good. Dara, how many devices do you have in your house you can connect to the internet?
Like 8 or 9.
Are you guys kidding me? Oh, these guys are not joking. Oh.
At different times.
Yeah, okay. What about you, Mr. Ola?
Around 7 or 8.
Okay. So you see that even the this one that we have here, which is 255, we've not even scratched it. Do you know what is 255? And
A
out
whole
of,
lot.
yeah, out of this 255, we already said that the first and the last is not being assigned, right? So apparently we have almost, let's say, 254, 252 that is ready for use, right?
Yes.
252 that is ready for use. So now the subnet mask on his whole definition and all the whole jangles and everything inside it is used to determine the class of a network. When you see a network that has slash and you see /8, you already know, okay, Mr. Brian said /8 is class A because of what? There is only one bit, one of the 8 bits that is on. The remaining is open for use. And you see a /16, you say, okay, this must be class B because it's expected for the first 2 blocks to be used by the host, by the network. Then the remaining ones is for the host. You are the host, you are the one that is using. Meanwhile, the network uses these ones, the ones to the left, which is the ones that are collected. So in class C, the network takes up 3 blocks, leaving only 1 block for the host, which is for you and I to use. So that is how, in short and summary, how /24, 16, 18, /32 comes out. Let's even put class D. Let's not make him alone. Equals to 255.255.255.255. So it will be slash what? Class D will be slash what? Hello, guys.
32.
32. Yes, and that is where IP version 4 stops. But of course, we already know that we have IP version 6, which has 6 blocks. IP version 4 has 4 blocks, which is the first block here, second, third, and fourth. And each block has 8 bits. And that is how we calculated the 32, 24, 16, 8. So the normal private network that everybody is using in their home is defaultly or at default at a class C network address. It's going to be a /24. Okay. So any question here before we go back?
No question.
Yeah. All I'm trying to do is prepare your mind ahead of some of the punches we're going to be doing soon. If there are no questions, Mr. Absalom, if you be kind enough to tell us, why do we have a /16 and which class is it?
Class 16. Okay, that should be class B, and we have because it has
The
uh,
host,
two
the host portion has 2
uh,
slots that are remaining, right?
two slots of 8 bits each.
Yes, and
That's
both of
8,
them
8,
is 16.
16.
Exactly. So the network side is the one towards the left, and the host side is the one towards the right. So now look at this scenario whereby our network is my network is 192.168.8.1. If you can't see my subnet mask, you'll be thinking that this is you'll be saying, okay, all of them are on. But you need to see my subnet mask. You need to know my subnet mask for you to know which class my network is in. And of course, my subnet mask, so far as I am in a private network, will be /24, 255.255.255, then .0/24. So when you are doing all these things and search on your network, you're going to be seeing most of these figures come up. So let us go back to our presentation. So now you understand why the subnet mask is showing us dot zero, what the zero means, and also our router. We have our router connected and so let us go down and see one more thing to do before we'll be rounding up. Step 2, after you must have connected your devices and verified the address. Now, talking about how to verify the address, let's check on the machine. Assuming you've already set up your machine, which I expected us to have done. If you have not set up your machine by now, please, within the week, call my attention to help you set it up. I'm going to start my machine. So once the machine starts, the first thing we are going to do is to find our IP address and also locate the IP address of the router that we are connected to, that our machine is connected to. Of course, you know that your Kali machine is like another computer that is inside your computer. So that computer will still have its own separate address from the address of your normal computer, your host computer. So I'm expecting if you have, of course, let's pull out Windows. For us to find the Windows address, our IP address that the Windows is using, we'll run the command I. What is the command to find your IP address on Windows? Does anyone know? Any idea? The command to find the IP address of your Windows machine or your Windows, that's your host. Why did you stop? What happened? Why did you abort? I need your
I,
responses.
I think it's a scanner like NMAP, something like.
No. For Windows, we have ipconfig. On your Windows machine, once you type in on your command line ipconfig, it goes down to bring out the details of your Windows machine, both your network details, the MAC address, everything. So starting from the first one, it tells you Windows IP configuration, your Ethernet adapter, your media state, your local IP address. This is the network, what's it called? My Wi-Fi, the default gateway that is going on. And what do we have here? 198. This is the IP address of the system, 198.56.1. But this is not the one that goes. This is one that is supposed to be going outside this network because you have two networks. You have two addresses. The one you use locally and the one that you're going to use outside. So if I'm communicating with my system to the outside world, it will reflect this address. And what class do you think this address is based on what we just talked about? Hello, guys.
Class C.
Class C.
Class C.
Good. Class C. So now wireless LAN also. So we have This is the wireless. We have an address here also 192.168.111.126. Now, if I'm being curious, I'm going to find out where is this address coming from. Of course, I already told you guys that my phone is what is giving the laptop internet. So default gateway is always your router or your Wi-Fi address. Is a default gateway. Gateway means the entry point or the exit point where it uses to enter the internet. So it is telling me here that the default gateway is 192.168.11.185. Curious. Let me find out from my phone if that is actually my address. Can I do that? Yes. Let me check my hotspots section of my phone. Then, if possible, I will share the screen. I think if I touch it now, it will disconnect my phone, so I'm not gonna touch it. It's very sensitive. Okay, but the Windows is already showing me that this is the router that is connected to, and we are going to confirm this with the Kali machine on how it syncs the same. I'm having a powering and aborting powering machine. Why is that possible? Current changed. VT is disabled in the BIOS for all CPU members. Okay, that reminds me. When you're setting up your Kali machine and it's time to boot it up, ensure to be reading the details of why your machine is failing. This is an example of a practical approach. Now, what it's telling me is that VT, which is virtualization, VT is disabled. So I think my system had issue within the week, and I went to the BIOS section and fixed some things. Probably it disabled my virtualization, and without virtualization setup, you will not be able to run VirtualBox. And also to confirm that, let me check Control Alternate Delete. Let me check the Task Manager. Under the Task Manager, when you go to Performance, below it, you will see whether your virtualization is disabled or not. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. So in case you're running your VM, your virtual machine, and things like this happen, always take time to read the error message to know where what happened and how to fix what happened. So after this class now, I'm going to go back to my BIOS and turn it back on. So meaning we are just going to be using our Windows here to find uh, the results we are looking for. And our remaining part, step 2, is supposed to be on the machine. After that, it's going to be on scanning the machine. Okay, it's already one hour. Let's call it a day here. So I'll allow you guys to get up to this stage. Maybe between the week, we're going to set up another class where we are going to run the intros of this IP addressing. On Kali, to find out the address on Kali, or your IP address on Kali, the command to run is if config and not IP config. The one we use to run on Windows, if you can remember, is IP config, right?
Yes.
So, but on Kali machine, what you need to find out your details of your IP addressing, your whatever, is if config, which let me see what is going to bring out here, but I have to press the enter. You see, it is not recognized on the Windows, but on the Kali machine, that is exactly what you need to find your details of your internet or your address. So we've already had a long packs of discussion tonight. Please, just like I told you guys before this class, go to Google, do a little read up on IP address, IP address, IP. Of course, you're going to find IP classes, then also subnets and ports, PORT, network ports. These four topics: IP address, IP classes, subnets, and port. Look them up on Google, read them, and while reading them, you will be understanding, you'll be picking stuffs that will be connecting to what we explained in the drawings and everything that we just discussed here. So that when we come back the next class, we'll go right into running commands. When we run the commands of finding out our IP addressing, the next thing we're going to do is to scan our address. And remember what I told us the scanning does. You could use it to find out all the devices that are in your network, all the devices. So it's just like sending a message to the estate to find out everybody that is in the estate. So we are going to be doing that on the next class. Then also we are going to be talking about ports. So it would be nice that you have a little idea about ports. So when we are discussing it, it will be juicy. We say port is a logical endpoint in a networking communication that allows devices to connect to specific services running on a system, meaning that for someone to remotely connect or hack your system, there is a port that is open that the person utilizes. There is a door that is open. Probably you don't know that that door is open. If your back door, your backyard or back door in your house is open and you don't know about it, what do you think will happen? Someone will take advantage of it, right? And probably enter your kitchen from there and maybe carry the pot of soup that was cooked. So that is the same thing with ports. Ports are logical endpoints in a network communication that allows devices to connect to specific services running on that system. So let me call again the things I want us to read up about. The first is IP address. The second is IP classes. The third is subnets. And the fourth is port. And I think when you read up on them, we will be flowing very well much in the next class. Thank you very much. Any question or contribution?
Yeah, Mr. Brian, thank you so much for the class.
Okay.
Number one is I have not set up my own
Kali.
stuff. I'm using a Mac computer.
Okay.
So I used to have a Calic machine on my computer before, but I think the course that I was in online, I think the person provided his own Calic stuff. So it is I
Mm-hmm.
we downloaded it from that his own stuff. It's called Z Security.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to uninstall it from my laptop, right?
Okay.
So I don't know where to download um a colleague stuff right now so I can do that.
Okay. The link to the description link should be on your folder. On the folder of the class, I will remind me. I will still post it again so that you can follow the guidelines on how to download and set it up.
All right. Is the guideline for Mac also explained there?
Yes, yes, is radically the same because once you go on Google and look out for Kali, what's it called, Kali machines, they are basically running the same product.
Okay.
Mr. Absalen, any question?
No, I'm good, sir.
Okay. Dara, have you slept?
No, no, no. I'm awake.
So please,
So my own
come
my own
ask.
Kali.
Yes, ask. Go ahead.
Okay, just that my own Kali win aborted. I don't know. Fail aborted.
Oh yeah, now yeah, read up or screenshot it so that you screenshot that aborted side, okay, or use your phone and snap it so that we could read the log. There's a message it will leave when it says aborted. There's a message it will read when it says aborted. Okay, so
Okay, maybe I will do that later. Thank you.
yes, you scan it and let us know why. Just like I did on my own, and I found out why it's saying aborted. So you do it and fix yours. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Good night. Please have a wonderful weekend and communicate with me within the group and in the week so that we'll get you fixed and running up as soon as possible. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great night.
Good night.
Night.